Hey guys, getting ready for the big show tonight. Five Finger Death Punch. The guys from Nothing More, Breaking Benjamin, of course. Bad Wolves here with Doc. Thanks for coming out and talking to us, man.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yeah, out here. Is this your guys' first time in Detroit? I'm trying to remember.
No, well, we played Flint.
Okay, yeah, Machine Shop.
On our headline run.
Yeah.
And that sold out in one day. Actually,
Yeah.
it was an amazing show. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've been coming here for years and years.
Oh, yeah, with God Forbid, right?
Yes,
Exactly. We were
yes.
just talking about that. Of course, former guitar player from that band right there. Now, I want to ask you guys about just the craziness of 2018 for you guys. I mean, just off the chains.
Yeah, I mean, it really things really started. I was actually on vacation with my girlfriend we were in Iceland and we were in the UK, and then we found out about Dolores passing away.
Yeah.
And obviously we were shocked, but we certainly didn't expect what to happen, which was the idea of from the label of trying to figure out what to do with the song and deciding to donate the money, and then we put out the single, and it literally it was overnight. Everything kind of changed.
Man, I'll talk about perfect timing. It's perfect storm.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it perfect. It's it's a tragic situation.
Right, of course.
It's the definition of bittersweet.
Right.
It's a tragedy, and hopefully we could take that and turn it into something positive by helping out the family and making the video was essentially a tribute to her and the legacy of the band, and try and put that focus there. But yeah, it opened up doors that never could have been there otherwise, and the crazy things that happened all before our album even came out.
Right.
So it kind of created this great
A
kind
buzz of sorts.
like a runway.
Yeah.
So that when the album came out and the touring started, there was a familiarity and already a kind of pretty fervent fan base right out the gate. It's pretty insane. I've never experienced anything like this.
Now, for people that aren't seeing you, I mean, obviously you guys are kind of fairly new, but all you guys have done other things. So you guys aren't one of these bands like some of these guys that we see out here on the road that grew up together and stuff. So talk about getting this band together.
Well, I mean, in some sense, I think we did grow up together. At least me and Tommy, we came up. My old band, God Forbid, was in Jersey, late '90s, early 2000s. His band, Vexed, basically was playing around the same time, and so we would play shows together, and then we became friends and started jamming together. He did a guest vocal track on God Forbid's 2004 album, and me and him been kind of working on projects together almost off and on since then. And John and I did Ozfest back in 2004 and became really, really quick friends, really close. Us and Devil Driver toured a lot together. So in a lot of ways, I feel like we did grow up together, even if it was kind of in a parallel sense.
Right, but Destiny kind of took all these roads and paths and put them together.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because me and Tommy, he is from New York, but then he moved to L.A., then he moved back to New York, then me and him started jamming together, then he moved back to L.A., and then I moved to L.A. when I was 32 years old, kind of as a, Hail Mary, you know what, I'm not young, but, probably for L.A., it's probably a little older you move there. I was like, you know what, I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have a family, I don't have anything tying me down. Let me kind of give this rock and roll thing one more shot. And I played with all different kinds of bands, and I was just trying to get out there and see what was going on. And, John left Devil Driver almost right when I moved to L.A., and he was basically my best friend in L.A., and I was hearing the music that he was working on. I was kind of doing other things, and I was almost trying to stay away from metal, to be honest. I was, doing stuff that was a little more on the rock side of another project called Vegas Nerve that's a little more kind of prog rock. But, I was playing with this band, Maytal. I came off the road. That band, the singer quit. Nothing was really going on. I was like... And it was right when Tommy started laying vocals down, and I was like, all right, this is something special here, and I don't have anything really to do right now. And I'm like, they needed a guitar player, and so I started jamming, in the studio with just me and John, working on the tracks and trying to translate what was on the recordings live, and it was a struggle, and I was like, can I do this? Am I kind of too out of the game with really technical metal? But I sat down and worked on it, and kind of slowly but surely, Chris got off the road, our other guitar player. We started making it tighter, and it took a while for us to actually get our bass player in the band. He joined the band the day we shot the Learn to Live video, which really, in that video, which came out about a year and 3 months ago, was really what jump-started everything with the band.
Now, how do you guys... I mean, you talked about how you guys got together, but how do you guys hook up with Zoltan? and go from there.
Well, I mean,
And sorry if you've answered this question a billion
oh
times.
no, it's fine. Listen, almost you gotta understand. Almost every question you're gonna answer a bunch of times, and people want to hear the story. And it's incumbent on us, at least me, to not try and tell it the same way every
Right.
time and kind of.
Just start making some stuff up.
Well, no, I mean it's it's not that you have to be creative with it, but the way you say it,
Right.
Because I don't want to be a robot, automaton, just say this, repeat a script. I don't think that's enjoyable for us either. So, no, but the way Zoltan essentially got involved, I was already friends with him. I had toured with Five Finger a couple times with my old band, John, but really it was him and Tommy had been hanging out, and he showed him the video for Learn to Live, and he thought it was great. And the fact that he already had a relationship with myself and John, he felt that the band, he had been looking to kind of manage someone and get in on that side of things for a while, and he felt that this band had some of the key components or the DNA of something that could really move the needle. I don't think he wanted to get involved in anything that didn't really have that very, very, very big potential.
Yeah, because he's got enough stuff going on in his own life.
Yeah. But the thing about Zoltan is he's a businessman. He's
Yeah.
an entrepreneur. He really has his finger in a lot of different things, half of which I don't know about. I just know he's the busiest guy. You don't even see him out here because he's somewhere doing work,
Yeah.
answering emails, making phone calls,
Buying sneakers,
taking meetings. Listen, he's doing things, and just knowing him through the years, his perspective on the business is extremely unique. The path Five Finger Death Punch has taken to get where they're at, they created a whole new lane that didn't really exist. And the way he looks at promotion, marketing, branding, no one really has a mind like that in heavy music, as far as I've seen it, in quite the way. Like, just sitting down with him, it feels like I've been in this business 20 years, and every time I talk to him, I feel like I learned something new because he comes at it from a completely different approach, and he's used some of those ideas and the theories that's worked for them, for us, but in a different way, because we are a different band, ultimately, with some crossover, but we do things that are unique to our band, which is great. There's like a Bad Wolves sound, there's a Five Finger sound, like, it's, even though there's enough crossover where we can play in front of the audience and do well.
Well, and also there is a little bit of a crossover between your bands too. Five guys from different directions, different bands and stuff like that, and also bands that kind of I shouldn't say got their start, but had the lid opened up by a cover song.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different because I think their first single was an original that was a hit, which was The Bleeding.
Okay.
And then I think the second was Never Enough. But then on the second album, I think
Bad Company song really kind of blew him
I
up,
think that was the one that maybe the first one went number one. But yeah, it took him to a new level, which is more the normal trajectory, right? You get a couple original songs, but I'd say it's one of these things. It's a good problem to have for us, having the first thing break out be a cover song. But it's just sometimes things just happen.
Well, sometimes that's what you open up the door with, and people discover the rest of your album.
Well, the thing is, and there was a lot of questions, right? So even for us, it's like, okay, people really like this song, and in a sense, the song is more famous than the band is. There's a lot of times where people say, "Oh, I'm in Bad Wolves," or whatever, they don't care. But then you're like, "Oh, we did this song. Oh, that song."
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay, because the truth is we're brand new, and we have to go out and essentially blow the name up and get the band to meet the status of that song. And thankfully, the question is, all right, you had a big single, but will the record sell? Record opens basically top 20 in America, charts in like 17, 18 different countries. And our new single, Hear Me Now, just cracked the top 10 on Active Rock. And we have another song, Remember When, which we did a video for. Every day, we're playing that. The whole crowd's, singing along. So it is translating to the other material. And the thing is, you may or may not be able to replicate something like Zombie, because it is kind of a phenomenon, and it crossed over even into the pop world. And for most bands that are as heavy as us, that's just not. You can't hope to say, oh, our next single is going to be that. You can't use that as a basis because it's kind of a freak of nature.
Yeah, it's cool the trajectory you guys have taken, and I tell this to people sometimes. So my wife, who is a super casual music listener, says to me, "You got to hear this cover of the Zombie song." It's like that's what resonates.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's little kids, it's families, it's elderly people. It's crossed over to some that, like I said, will kind of exist in its own environment outside of the band. And there's millions of people are going to hear that song who probably will never come see us live, will never buy a record, and that's the way when you have something that crosses over, because they're really not. And I'm guilty of the same thing. How many bands where I'm like, oh, that song you hear, but you don't know who does it,
Right,
or you're
right.
like so what's that song Possum Kingdom, right?
Yeah, Toadies.
The Toadies. But for years I didn't know who
Right.
played that song. Now I know, but it took me. It's like, oh, I just like that song.
I know that song because when I got to Detroit, I played it over and over and over again. I'll never forget it.
It's one of my favorite songs. Period. But and that's it's the kind of the double-edged sword of having a hit, and the key, or for us, is like this door's opened. Now it's about building a career.
Right.
All right. Can you do this consistently? And we're lucky to be associated and be around bands like Five Finger Death Punch, like Shinedown, like Breaking Benjamin, that have been able to do this for 10, 15 years and consistently have songs that penetrate on a bigger scale. And that's really the challenge is, can we be consistent? Can we filter this success into the next album and develop that? And we're still learning, as songwriters and as collaborators working together, figuring out these things. And it's a really, really exciting challenge, because the thing is, if you're a brand new band or something and you're like, man, we have these hit songs, we have these great songs, your challenge is, how do we get this played on the radio? We have an avenue to get on the radio, we just have to deliver, so it's that idea that, hey, we can do something and millions of people will be able to hear it. We have that platform now. We're the luckiest band in the world, I think.
Now, final thing here for you, and we'll let you go. You just brought it up. For your next record, you guys have anything any ideas, anything?
Well, we have a couple songs that didn't make it to this record that are definitely going to go on the next record. We're probably going to rework them a little bit and kind of fine tune them. And we've just been out here. Everyone's, John kind of like, I was talking to him today, just like he kind of writes in his head and has little ideas, and he's kind of the brains behind the operation creatively, at least starting with the kind of the foundation. And then I've been kind of working on some stuff here and there, and so there's a lot of like little pieces and stuff. So I don't after this break or after this tour, John's gonna go to the studio and start working on some stuff. I'm gonna be working on stuff, and then in the new year we're gonna be like, I think, really trying to get the next record done and have it. So hopefully it'll be out end of next summer or next fall or something like that. And I don't want to put that. Don't put that in writing.
Right,
but that's what we would hope to happen. And I think, honestly, the creative energy is really going to be bursting at the seams, because you got to remember, a lot of this stuff was written a long time ago. It took years of development and everything to kind of just get it out. So I think we're all ready. Like we have with that, and that's the thing is, it's like kind of like a cup. Like you empty the cup out when you're making something, and then you wait a couple years and it kind of slowly builds up.
Well, here's a song you guys could cover for your next record. Here Comes the Rain Again.
Okay. Well, I say I would do "Rain When I Die" by Alice in Chains.
Great song.
Great song.
We could talk about rain songs all day long. The rain song.
November Rain.
All right, stop.
Purple Rain.
All right, Doc. Hey, thanks so much for your time. Good luck in the future, man.
Thanks for having me.